Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the KiFRL Fantasy Draft. We're doing it over. We did fix the problem. To showcase the fact that I fixed the problem, here we are. The autosave. We're going to overwrite it. File save successfully, so we're good to go. We're not going to run into the same problem we ran into last time. So hopefully Josh will join us here in a second. But that being said, we are live. The KiRFL Killjoys Imaginary Football Relocation League. Or I guess it could be RFL. I don't care. Either way, whichever one sounds better, I'll go with. But welcome to that. First on the clock, the Carolina Panthers. Carolina will, in fact, be moving, and I'll pull up this list so I can look at it as we are going along. Carolina will be moving to the Tennessee area, Memphis, Tennessee to be specific. They'll be moving there, so they'll be out of the place. Carolina. Oh, I need help. I need some serious help. Okay. Okay, Josh is there. Good. Glad to have you, buddy. Just do the Facebook chat. It's a little bit easier because my Twitch chat for me sometimes goes in and out, and then I can't have the music on. And I like the music. That being said, I don't think this is any question. I'm pretty sure I picked him last time for Carolina. I think it has to go again. John Elway to the Panthers. What do you say, Josh? John Elway, Panthers? He's the strong arm quarterback. He's 99 overall. It fits. Yep, that's what I thought.
The
Elway to the
Lions
Panthers.
are now on the clock.
We get the Lions now on the clock. Detroit, gonna pop up here. Matt, Patricia, let me know if the background music is loud enough or if it's too loud or what it is. But we also have ads to contend with, sadly. Detroit will not be on the move, by the way. Okay. Detroit has a field general. Now, I don't remember who I picked last time for them. I know Johnny Unitas went to New England, and I kind of would like to keep that. So I'm thinking either Drew Brees or Tom Brady. I know last time I went Tom Brady to Georgia to make the devil went down to Georgia joke, but I don't know. I think Tom Brady wouldn't be bad here. Drew Brees? Okay, Drew Brees it is.
The Chiefs.
I was say Tom Brady probably
clock.
wouldn't be bad there because of the Michigan connection, but I like that. And with New England being as close as they are, I feel like that's fine for leaving Unitas for them. The Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, are on the clock. And the Kansas City Chiefs will be moving to Salt Lake City. That's right. Utah will have a football team. The Chiefs, once again, screwed by the fact that they are a scrambler at the quarterback position. Cam Newton.
The Titans are now on the clock.
When it's that low like that and there's not quarterbacks for me to contend with, I'm just picking the best available for those guys. Josh, you're 12th, I believe I said, so that'll be where you pick. Tennessee is now on the clock. San Antonio. The San Antonio team, or the future San Antonio team, the Tennessee Titans, are now on the clock. And I believe they have an improviser. I know you probably want him. So I'm willing to go with Steve Young. Just because. Steve Young is still 96. You got Steve Young, Fran Tarkington, Roger Staubach, Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Mike Vick. Wouldn't mind seeing Mike Vick. This is a difficult for me because I know whoever I pick, I have to face. So I'd rather Vick. Okay, that's
The Saints are now on the clock.
Oh, I read that wrong. Well, All right, the Saints are on the clock. Let me go switch back to that. Yeah, I did. Oh, that's great. Field general quarterback. Oh, who did I go with last time for them? Oh, I remember. I screwed them. And I had... Oh, no, this is... Never mind. I don't know what I'm thinking. This is New Orleans. My bad. I think Dallas was up next, and it confused me. Oh, Peyton Manning. I'm not even questioning this one. Peyton Manning for this one. They had Archie.
The
Let's
Jets
go Peyton.
are now on the clock.
I like this that move for me. That's okay. So Dallas was on the board, and I think I saw theirs and got confused. I know what I'm doing with them, though. It's gonna be funny. All right, the Jets are on the clock. The New York foot. Why do I keep wanting to say the New York Football Jets? That's not a thing. Dan Marino went to Pittsburgh. And I mean that in the sense that I picked him for Pittsburgh last time. I'm leaning Montana. Or Rodgers. Montana or Rodgers? Montana or Rodgers? What do you think? Montana or Rodgers? Rodgers it is.
The Patriots are now on
I
the
will
clock.
note, Josh, that the top 6 players that we have overall-wise will be X Factors. And that goes for every team. The top 6 overall players will get X Factor. Whether or not they have it already or not, because so many of them are going to be 99s. It just makes sense to do that. But all of the legends, because the way that Create a Player works, you can't make a created player X Factor, but I can go in and change it in the middle of the first season that isn't going to exist. So there's that. The New York Patriots. Yeah. New England Patriots.
The Redskins
Johnny
are
Unitas.
now on the clock.
That was who I was going with from the get-go. The Washington Redskins. They'll be on the move. They're moving to not Salt Lake City, St. Louis, to become the St. Louis Redskins, because you can't change the name when you move to St. Louis. So they go improviser, and we're going to go
The 49ers
Rodgers
are now on the clock.
The 49ers are now on the clock, and that means I need to switch over to them and not be stupid. Come on now. I know better. The San Francisco 49ers. And I believe they have an improviser. They do. And it's not going to be Steve Young, because that was their guy in real life. We're going to go Fran Tarkenton.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Rambling, scrambling, stumbling, whatever, Fran Tarkenton. Okay, Cowboys are now finally on the clock. I'm not even switching. I know who I'm going with for them, because I did it last time. I thought it was hilarious. We're sticking with
The
it.
Texans
Vince
are
Young.
now on the clock.
All right, Texans are on the clock, and then Josh, you're up, and I'm pretty sure I know who you're going with. So let's make sure that we get the Texans pick right before we get to yours. So the Texans are field generals, and again, this is another position where it's like, okay, I know that this is going to end up screwing me in the end because I have to play them twice. So I'm thinking Montana or Favre. And I will continuously call him Favre. Favre does not make sense to me because the R needs to be before the V for it to be Favre. Favre. Anyway, Montana or Favre? Favre. Brett Favre. All right. Well, this is going to suck for me. I got to face... Great. I get Michael Vick and Brett Favre in my division. Who's next? Who's going to be the last one in my division? Patrick Mahomes? Josh? Yep.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
All right. Tampa is now on the clock. Tampa Bay is now on the clock. Tampa Bay is, of course, moving. There will only be one team in Florida once this is all said and done. It'll be my team. Tampa is moving to Dublin. Have fun with that. That being said, they went strong arm. You're not getting my quarterback, so Doug
The
Flutie.
Bengals are now on the clock.
Actually, I went with Jim Kelly last time, did I don't care. I'm going Bradshaw this time. Bengals are now on the clock. Ooh. Montana or Warner? Or Brady. I'd add Brady. Brady, Montana, or Warner. Or Aikman. Or Rivers. Or Luck. Just somebody. It's not Marino. Montana. All right. Montana's coming to
The Bills are
Cincinnati.
now on the clock.
And then to Houston. Because Cincinnati's moving to Houston. The Bills are on the clock. That's going to look weird. Montana in a powder blue Oilers uniform. Wow. I can't guarantee it's going to be the Oilers. All right, so Brady, just because. Brady to Buffalo, which will then be Toronto, but they'll have to play New England twice.
The Packers are now on the clock.
And he actually does not retire immediately all the time. It's interesting. Packers are now on the clock. And the Packers, I believe, screw themselves. I think with their... Nope, they'll be fine. Steve Young.
The Vikings are now on
Packers,
the
of course,
clock.
won't be moving. That's them. The Vikings are now going to be on the clock, and somebody around here screws themselves. I know that. The scrambling quarterbacks suck in this draft class. Anyway, Minnesota's now on the clock. They have an improviser. Russell Wilson, Donovan McNabb, or Randall Cunningham. What do you think? I mean, Russell Wilson obviously is the best one. The other two aren't really that much of a downgrade, though. I mean, one overall point. I think Randall's faster, and McNabb is, well, McNabb. Also, they both can break the sack better. Okay.
The Cardinals are now on the
what,
clock.
We're not letting McNabb get drafted? Is that what this is? Arizona is on the clock. Arizona goes improviser, so it's Wilson or McNabb. Because the other one is all the way down here, and it's Jim McMahon. Although, I would pay money to see McMahon in the NFL again. Let's be fair. Baker Mayfield's here, too. Some decent ones down further, but Jim McMahon wouldn't be bad. Wilson, yeah. I feel like you're going to say McMahon for the next
Steelers
improviser.
are now on the clock.
All right, the Steelers are on the clock. This isn't a question. I know who was going
The
here all
Giants
along.
are now on
Stan
the clock.
Marino. They had a chance to draft him in real life. He went to Pitt. We're not changing that. He's going to the Steelers now. The Giants are on the clock, of course. Pick 20. The Giants want an improviser. I honestly, I kind of want to go McNabb on this. I kind of want to overrule whatever you're going to say because it's the Giants.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
I'll allow it. That one you got to admit that's a good spot. It's funny. I enjoy those kind of things. Right? It's just funny when it's that kind of a team. Anyway, the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, soon to be the Las Vegas Raiders, are on the clock, and they want to go for a improviser. Well, that makes my life easier because he still gets to make the NFL. Welcome back, Jim McMahon.
The
Get on
Seahawks
your
are now on the
headband
clock.
and piss off Roger Goodell. You once pissed off Pete Rozelle. Piss off Roger Goodell now. Wear a headband that says Goodell. I'll pay money to watch that. Anyway, the Seattle Seahawks are on the clock. And I'm pretty sure they have an improviser. So now we move from where we were down here. And we get Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson, Eric Crouch. I don't ever remember him. Or Dak Prescott. And it really could be any one of these five, honestly. 83, 82, 82, 81, 81. I really don't know where to go, so I'm turning to Josh on this one. Baker, Wentz, Watson, Crouch, or Prescott for Seattle. We went Minshew in the other version, but this one's a different one. It is a tough one. The Wentz wagon. North Dakota State Wentz wagon.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
To Seattle. Denver is now on the clock. The Denver Broncos. They will be moving to San Diego. I feel that. I like Baker just because he went to OU, but oh well. Denver, I believe, also has improviser. And now we get Baker, Watson, Crouch, or Prescott. I'm feeling you're going to say Watson. So I'm going to go Watson just because of what we just discussed.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
The Falcons are now on the clock. And eventually I will have to put Baker somewhere. He'll probably just be a backup. But the Falcons are now on the clock. And the Falcons are going with an improviser. So continuing on with this string of things. I'm just going to put him here.
The Colts are now on the
clock. Just to get rid of that problem. So Baker Mayfield would go to Atlanta. Let's do this. There we go. That's there. Dun, dun. Ba, ba, ba. All right. The Colts are on the clock now, and I believe they went for a scrambler. They do have a scrambler. So they are, well, I wouldn't say they're screwed. They've got two great young talents. Who will it be, Josh? Mitchell Trubisky or Lamar Jackson for the Indianapolis Colts, soon to be the Austin something or others. I figured as much. It's Lamar Jackson.
Are now on the clock.
After an incredible night last night, beating the New England Patriots. Very well done. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Philadelphia Eagles. I think this was this roster was done at the very beginning of the season. Like, this roster was first started before the very first game even took place, which is why. Anyway, Philadelphia is on the clock, and I believe they also have a scrambler as their list. So we got Trubisky, and then we have Kyler Murray, Tyrod Taylor, Blake Bortles, Will Grier. Murray or Trubisky? Da, 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 da. What do you think? Trubisky, the unproven talent out of North Carolina that is starting to fall off with the Bears, or Kyler Murray, the unproven talent out of Oklahoma, Heisman Trophy winner? All right, it's Trubisky.
The Browns
are
now on the clock.
Future team from London. I think it was future team from London. Yes. The Eagles are headed to London. The Cleveland Brownies are now on the clock. Cleveland. Who will be that last quarterback in the AFC North, which has quickly become the best division for quarterback play in the NFL? I'm leaning Troy Aikman, 3-time Super Bowl winner. But I wouldn't pass Steve McNair. Seeing him back in there, add a little bit of that field general, but some break sack, a little bit of ability to make some plays. Might work well for Cleveland. What do you think? We could go McNair. We could go Starr, Luck, Rivers, Aikman, Warner. I don't know. Leaving it to Josh. on this one. But I do like that McNair vibe. Air McNair, but it's Aikman. Troy Aikman to Cleveland. I do want to
The
get
Jaguars
Air
are now on
McNair
the
in
clock.
here, though, somewhere. He'll probably go in at the Chargers or the Rams. Maybe Miami. He's not going to Orlando. I can tell you that. Orlando, and I am saying Orlando because that's where it's going to be. It's going Bradshaw. Right? I'm not arguing with it. This is who I'm taking. It's Terry Bradshaw.
The Rams
The
are now on
blonde
the clock.
bomber. He's my guy. And it would freeze on my pick. So give me just a second. It's going to cut out sound. So we'll... be right back. Okay. I think we covered this last time that this happened. That, like, I think it was Madden 18 or whatnot. This never happened with. So, it was only once they made that move to that new design for the drafts that it started doing this. Which sucks because I can't just go through and do the whole draft all at once. Without having to do this multiple times, but once we get past the second round, so I think we'll only have to do this twice. We'll actually stay with this one later, longer than last time, to get a really nice draft going for me and Josh. But other than that, we're just gonna sim through everybody else's picks, so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Very, very. Patrick Mahomes with that bazooka. Anytime now. There we go. Got that Saquon Barkley hurdle. All right. So now, because I know it's saved, and you can see KiFRL autosave. So there we go. We've got the autosave. We're good to go. I'm happy. So it should be on the Jaguars. If it went back an extra couple picks, I don't mind that. But it didn't. It's on my Jaguars. So that makes my life easy because this is real simple. It's Terry Bradshaw.
The Rams are now on the clock.
The Rams are on the clock. That means that LA, who is staying in LA, remain the Los Angeles Rams. We'll pick next. And they have an improviser. We got Dak Prescott, Eric Crouch, or Marcus Mariota. What do you think, Josh? Prescott, Crouch, Mariota. Prescott it is.
The Bears are now
That
on
leaves
the
us
clock.
with 3 picks to get Air McNair in here. And I don't know about this spot, but I like the next 2 as a landing spot. The Bears, I feel like they need to go away from this scrambling quarterback just because it's so low down. So we're going to leave the Bears away from that. And we are going to go somewhere up here. Kurt Warner, Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck, Jim Kelly, or Warren Moon. Actually, just one of these guys. One of these 7 guys. Josh, who you got? One of these 7. My preference is Jim Kelly. I think he'd be a good fit. But we go for any one of these. Warren Moon wouldn't be bad. Steve Air McNair. But one of them. I don't know where we're going with it. Bart Starr actually could work because he played for the Packers. It could be one of those moments. on. Whoop. I flip around. I think the Bears make it a very difficult choice for them. Everyone that's on the list, 1 through 7, and you're good. Air McNair it is. All
The
right.
Chargers are now on the clock.
Air McNair. The Chargers are now on the clock. And the Chargers go strong arm. We'll put Jim Kelly here. I like Jim
The
Kelly.
Dolphins are now on the clock.
Jim Kelly. The Dolphins move on to the clock. And this is where it's going to get fun. And then, Josh, if you want to pull up that wheel you had last time, we'll do that for the second round, and then we'll be able to move quickly. For them, it's going to be, for the Dolphins, Kurt Warner's coming into
The
town.
Dolphins are now on the clock.
There we go. So, if you got that wheel ready, let me know, because it is the Dolphins on the clock first. I'd like to know where we're going with them. Offense or defense? It is offense. So, of course, as per the usual prerequisite of this, offensive player. And that is one Jerry Rice.
The Chargers are now
We'll
on the
move
clock.
on now to the Chargers. And honestly, I think I'm just going to sit on my character because it doesn't really matter. We're just taking the best available. It is offense again for the Chargers. And, of course, we do position players. So it's Bo Jackson. Ooh, Bo
The
Jackson.
Bears are
going to
now
the
on the clock.
Chargers. The Bears are now on the clock. What will the Bears be taking? The Bears are on the clock. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Offense or defense? It is offense once again. Da 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 da. It's Jamal Charles.
The Rams are now on the clock.
The Rams are now on the clock. So out come the Rams. What will the Rams have? Offense or defense? Do do do. Bump it up. It is once again offense. As we go 4 offenses in a row. My word. The Rams get Walter Payton. Just
The
for shits and
Jaguars
giggles,
are now
I'm
on
up
the clock.
next. What is it? It's going to be offense, is what I'm picking. But I want to know what the shits and giggles of it is. Defense. The one time it's defense, it doesn't count because I'm not picking it. I'm taking the bus.
The Browns are now on the clock.
We ride the bus in Orlando. It is defense for the Cleveland Brownies. So the Cleveland Brownies will build their defense first. And I think they're going to build their their defensive line, Merlin Olsen.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
The Eagles will now be on the clock. And what will the Eagles have? It is offense. So the Eagles will also have a running back because seriously, it's stockpiled running backs. but they don't get just any running back. It's Barry Sanders.
The Colts
I think
are
he'll
now
look
on
good
the
in
clock.
London. The Colts are now on the clock. That's my arrival. And who will I have to face a lot of? Will it be an offensive player? Will it be defense? Can it be somebody who stops the bus? Hopefully not. It will be defense. And it's going to be Deacon Jones because they know they got to stop the bus.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
The Falcons move on to the clock, and you would hope that for Atlanta's sake, they're going to get a wide receiver, but we'll spin the wheel and find out. It is defense, so no help to that offense for them, but they do get some secondary help.
The Broncos
Ronnie
are
Lott.
now on the clock.
Denver's up on the clock, and his wheel feels like it likes favorites for stretches of time. Because it's defense again. And they go Mike Singletary.
The
There's some
Seahawks
good defense
are now on the
pickups here.
clock.
There's a lot of good defense pickups here. Seahawks are now on the clock. Will it be the fourth straight defense, or will it be offense? And we'll start a chain of that. It's defense once again. The Legion of Boom is coming back. It's Ed
The
Reed,
Raiders are now
one
on
of the
the
hardest
clock.
hitting safeties of all time. The Oakland Raiders are on the clock. And what will they go? Offense or defense? Whoever goes offense next is getting a heck of a running back, possibly. It's defense. It's Patrick Willis.
The Giants are now on the clock.
He goes from one side of the bay to the other, from San Fran to Oakland. The Giants are on the clock. And what will they go with? Will it be offense? Will it be defense? It is offense. So guess what? They get the great
The
Jim
Steelers are
Brown.
now on the clock.
Pittsburgh's now on the clock, which means that this is going to be interesting. It's defense, and this is really interesting because he played for the rival. he caused a lot of problems, but now
The Cardinals are
he's
now
in the
on the
black
clock.
and gold. It's Ray Lewis. Now on the clock is Arizona. Will it be offense? Will it be defense? It is defense. Bobby Wagner. There's a lot of
Vikings
defense going off
are
the
now
board,
on the
but that's okay. Saving the offense for me and Josh again. We questioned if it would work last time. It worked pretty well last time. I think it'll work again this time. What will Minnesota have? Got some good offense. Oh, I'm not sure why Reggie Bush is a 99 overall, but we got a lot of running backs. 99 overall. It's
The
Marshawn
Packers
Lynch.
are now on the clock.
What will the Green Bay Packers go with? It's defense. It's Lawrence Taylor.
The Bills are now
He's
on the
going to run
clock.
his mouth all over town in Green Bay. That's going to be an interesting show to watch. Then we've got offense. Welcome to Buffalo, Reggie Bush. I
Bengals
hope
are
you
now
like
on
the
the
cold. Cincinnati's on the clock now. And I can say that I hope they likes the cold because they're going from Buffalo to Toronto. It's only going to be colder. Cincy goes on the clock with offense, and they get to add DeAndre
The
Hopkins.
Buccaneers are now on the
Now,
clock.
I noticed somebody that was a receiver that was on this list that disappeared, but he's back all of a sudden. I'd personally pick him. I forgot about
The
him.
Ravens are
But,
now on the clock.
Tampa's getting Calvin Johnson. Megatron's going to disappear from that name because seriously, that's so ridiculous. But the Ravens are now on the clock, and who will the Ravens pick? I have a good feeling about this. Josh, it's your pick. Are you saying you want offense? Are you saying that you want? Well, you win with that because you get
The
one
Texans
Randy
are now on the
Moss.
clock.
Yeah, I would take Randy Moss too. What's Texans get? I'm going to laugh if they get Aaron Donald again. They get Aaron Donald again.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
They traded him once before. Will they trade him again? What does Dallas get? Dun, 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 dun. Offense. Interesting. So the Cowgirls go offense. They get Gale Sayers.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
That now leaves the 49ers on the clock. And you can see just how many 99s there are left. I mean, my God, look at all these 99s. So many of them. It's offense. So I'm already most of the way down here. I'm pretty sure that's all the 99 offensives. Pretty sure it's going to be a running back. It's not. It's Julio Jones.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
The Redskins are now on the clock. And they will go defense, which means it's Dick Lane.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
I might leave Night Train in there. Don't know. Just because it's now New England's turn on the clock, and they go offense. The only person I saw there was Todd, heterosexual. I like girlies.
The Jets are
Like
now
Gurley.
on the clock.
To New England. The Jets will go offense as well. And once again, we're going down here. There's a lot of defensive talent left on this board, and I don't think they'll last too long. The Jets.
The Saints are now
He
on the
goes
clock.
from one end of New York to the other, leaving Cleveland behind. The Saints will go offense as well, so we've got another spurt of offense as we close in on the end of this round, and we'll move back to just me and Josh's
The
picks.
Titans are now on the clock.
That's the Saints pick. The Titans are on the clock. We're only 3 picks away from the end, or 4 picks away from the end of the round. Tennessee's on the clock, and what will they take? It'll be offense once again. My, so much offense. I'm half tempted to give him Zach Martin, but it's going to be Ezekiel Elliott.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Then we have the Chiefs. Okay. No problem, man. No problem. The Chiefs are going to go defense.
The
We have to send
Lions
out
are
some
now
of
on
this
the clock.
defense. If you could, before you leave, just give me a quick list of your players that you want, or at least positions, because we're about to get to that. Then I could take those for you.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Just give me like 5 rounds worth. If you get back before that, that's fine. But, you know, just give me a position and I'll try and figure that out for you.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Okay. I'll get that done for you. And if you make it back before the 5 rounds, that's fine. If you don't, we'll figure it out.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock.
All right, so cornerback is up first. You're getting a pretty good one, Rod Woodson. Don't worry, man.
The
best.
Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock.
Alvin Kamara.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Ooh.
The Colts are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock.
So we've got okay, so he's still going to be there for a little bit. Not really for a little bit, but at least for my next pick. Which is fine with me, because I'll definitely be taking him. I like the deep threat. I like the physical threat. We're going to go T.O. first.
The Rams are now
T.O.,
on the clock.
man. That's my quarterback.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Dolphins
And I'll
are now
hope
on
to
the
get
clock.
my other
The Bears
receivers
are now on the
as
clock.
we go along.
The
I think I
Jaguars
will.
are now on the clock.
I'm definitely getting my safety right here. At least one of them. It's Sean Taylor. I mean, come on.
The Browns are
How do I
now on
pass
the
up
clock.
the hardest hitting safety of all time, Sean Taylor?
The Eagles are now on the
guy.
clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The
Huge
Broncos
Miami
are now on the
Hurricanes
clock.
fan, so me getting
The Giants
Hurricanes
are now on the
players,
clock.
big to me.
The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Bills are now
I would
on
have
the clock.
loved to have got Ray Lewis, but
The Ravens are now
as
on
we
the
know,
clock.
he's now in Pittsburgh, so there's that. Middle linebacker, a linebacker for Josh. Lights Out is getting dropped, but Sean Marion,
The
Merriman,
Texans are
how do
now
you
on the
pass
clock.
that up? He gets that.
The Cowboys are now
Get
on the
him a
clock.
defensive lineman.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
A lot of teams
The
are going
Titans
defense.
are now on the clock.
Going to be interesting.
The Panthers are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock.
It's kind of interesting how it's going along. He did say defensive lineman. Best overall defensive lineman. I hate doing this because it's helping him so much.
The Buccaneers
Joe
are now
Green.
on the clock.
It's got to be Joe Green. How
The
do you not give
Bengals are
Joe
now on
Green?
the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Colts
coming up,
are now on the clock.
And we'll go back to receiver.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Sure up that position. Get a nice big physical Michael
The
Irvin
Rams are now on the clock.
from the U.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on
We're
the
probably
clock.
going to look somewhere at the
The
tight end
Bears are
position.
now on the clock.
We're really going to give Terry Bradshaw everything he could ever want. Because how do you pass up the
Browns
best
are
tight
now
end
on the
to
clock.
ever play the game? I mean, come on. Tony Gonzalez.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Hard press.
The Broncos are
get
now on the clock.
Damn good team here.
The Giants are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The
So we are
Bengals
coming
are
up
now
on
on
the
the
end
clock.
of what I have for Josh. So
The Ravens
try
are
to
now
help
on the
him as
clock.
best I can. He's still not back. He did say running back. We were a tough one because he didn't want Adrian Peterson last time, but this time having Adrian Peterson is hard to pass up. It's 99. I'm sorry, man. You had to. Well, you can't change his age though.
The
How about
Texans
you get
are now
Eric
on the clock.
Dickerson. That's a difficult one to pass up, getting Eric Dickerson.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
So there you go. You get Eric Dickerson.
The
my boy.
Redskins are now on the clock. The Saints
And if he still
are
hasn't
now
been
on the
taken by
clock.
the time I get back here,
The
I'm going with the
Lions
other
are now
tight
on the
end.
clock.
And
The Lions are now on the clock.
piss off.
The Saints are now on the
Because
clock.
ain't nobody beating my tight ends.
The
I
Redskins
have the best
are now on the
receiving core
clock.
in the damn NFL.
The Texans are now on the clock.
KIRFL. Ravens are on the clock. Last pick that he has, so hopefully he gets back in time. But for right now, it's going to be Charles Tillman.
The Buccaneers are
Again,
now on the clock.
I'm going to lose that nickname. Don't know why that's there. But that's it for what I
The
have. I'll try
Bengals
to
are now on the clock.
help you as best I can. You need
The
some
Packers
receivers.
are now
so
on the clock.
I'll look there to help
The
you out. There.
Steelers
Some
are
tight
now
end
on the
maybe.
clock.
Marquise Brown
The
goes
Giants
off the board.
are now on the clock.
Ozzie Newsome. You went Ozzie
The
Newsome
Seahawks
over.
are now on the clock.
Okay.
The Falcons are now
Okay,
on
you're
the
just
clock.
going to keep passing
The
them up.
Eagles are now on the
I mean,
clock.
if he's sitting here.
The Jaguars are now on the
Seriously, and I didn't miss it. I did miss it. Okay, he did get picked. Somebody did pick Rob Gronkowski. I was going to add one Rob Gronkowski and be a really damn good team. I'll probably add somebody down the list or in the draft and rename them Heath Miller, honestly. because that's who I want, but he's not on here because, you know, problems. I need defense. I have one free safety, to be fair. I'm taking you, and you're going to learn how to play strong safety.
The Rams are now on the clock.
We're going to have some strong hitting people.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Bears are now
I
on
am
the clock.
obviously focusing
The
on my secondary
Jaguars
first,
are now on the clock.
knowing how good this league all around is going to be. If I'm going defense at all, I'm focusing on that secondary. Joe Hayden,
The Browns
who's
are
going to
now
get a
on
bump
the
in the
clock.
ratings. Come on, 84? This man was a lockdown corner at one point, and I think his highest overall rating at one point was 98. And I'm going to look it up. So we might sit here for a second, but that'll help Josh out. Well, no shit, he has a negative reaction. What was Joe Hayden's highest Madden rating? Foremost dynamic Cleveland Browns players on Madden 12. Peyton Hillis. No surprise there. Joe Hayden. An 86. Really? I am very surprised at this. Although 2012 was early in his career, wasn't it? Joe Hayden was a 95 overall at one time. Okay. Madden 15, Joe Hayden was a 95 overall. That's where I'm going to try to put him because that's where he belongs. So, suck it. I don't want to hear it.
The Eagles are now on
Joe
the clock.
Hayden was a beast.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Josh, let me know when you're back.
The Falcons are now on the
Hear
clock.
me.
The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock.
But I am going to give you a wide receiver to help you out. You're going to get a deep threat. One Chad Ochocinco, my boy.
The Texans are now on the
So
clock.
you get Randy Moss and Chad Ochocinco. So
The Cowboys are
good
now
on
on
you
the
for
clock.
that. And we'll get you a tight end this
The
time.
Patriots are now on the
We'll
clock.
go back to focusing on a little bit
The
on your
Titans
defense.
are now
maybe.
on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock.
Hopefully you'll be back by then.
The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock.
No, I don't know in the draft for the 49ers.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Take a tight end. Get you some. Oh, no. No. Get you some
The
Jeremy Shot.
Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Let's go.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
I do hate that you can't edit
The
certain
Packers
players'
are now on the
age
clock.
because, you know, or any real
The
player's age.
Steelers are now
Because
on
it does
the
end
clock.
up hurting
The
us
Seahawks
overall
are now on the
later
clock.
But it is
The
a part of it,
Colts
so
are now on the clock.
can't really do much about it.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
I'm on the clock. I think I'm going to shore up my receiver position just a little bit. And by shoring up my receiver position, I mean getting a good route.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Because I'm going to draft Devin Hester on this next pick, but he ain't playing receiver.
Now on the clock.
I ain't drafted him for that bullshit.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
That man is getting drafted.
The Bears are now on the clock.
And one reason only. Because he is the goddamn greatest return man ever. And he deserves this pick. So where were you? Devin Hester.
The Browns are now on the clock.
I don't need him to be on offense. I don't need any of that bullshit from him. I will get
the Eagles
extra
are now on the clock.
Wide receiver.
The
I don't
Falcons
care.
Are now on the clock.
That's
the Raiders
what I'm doing.
Are now on the clock.
I'm actually going to give
the
Josh
Cardinals
an
are now on the clock.
It might sound like I'm doing him a bad thing, but I'm actually trying to help.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Because imagine if Patrick Mahomes can stay upright and not get murdered.
The Texans are now on the clock.
So he gets Gary Zimmerman.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Right.
The Redskins are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock.
He's about to be back up again, so if
the
he's
Lions
back,
are now on the
Josh,
clock.
if you're back, let me know.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
You got them. I feel like
the Titans.
I feel like I tried to help you a little bit. We
the
went,
Jets
I think,
are
2
now
or 3
on the
picks
clock.
past.
The Redskins are now on the
what
clock.
You gave me.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Too bad, but I think I went wide receiver, tight end, and now an offensive lineman. I'm gonna hold up for a second because I'm probably going the other tackle position. Help out there. Did I restart the clock? What kind of bullshit is... you know what? I'm going to leave that. Because I know this is who I want to pick for him. To help him shore up that right side tackle. And just because he's young and he's a future star and could work out very well. And at this point, I think this is where we're going.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Gonna repause that.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
How that got restarted.
The Packers are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock.
That's how that got restarted.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Good to know that.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Now then, my time. I got another cornerback. I could use it. He's got 2. He's in a good spot. I'm gonna go Trey Flowers. He's worked out well for me in the other clock, and he's young. So I like that.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock.
Now we go outside linebacker. Telvin Smith. I could go Ryan Shazier. Or I could go T-Sizzle. Ugh. God, this is difficult. Because they're all old. That's the only reason it's difficult. You know what? I'm not touching my linebackers. I know exactly what I'm doing, and it's got to do with the draft. Now, on the offensive line...
The Browns are now on the clock.
Give me Brett Kiesel. I said offensive line. This is the defensive line.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Coming up on Josh's next pick.
The Broncos are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock.
Probably on the defense.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Out there in a little bit.
The Packers are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
So going to switch over to his to see what holes need filled. Well, needs some safety help. He's got the corners, but you can't do this without some safeties.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Why is he 55? Well, I'm sorry about that, Josh. I think I just screwed you on that one. I didn't realize he was 55 until I picked him. Why was he 55? What the hell? What in the absolute hell is that bullshit? He's gonna play
The Cowboys
1
are
year.
now
He's
on the clock.
55 freaking
The Redskins
years old.
are now on the clock. The Saints
What
are
the
now on the
shit
clock.
balls of fire.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock.
So we're going to go to the other safety and help you out there. Which this one we're actually going a bit younger than 55.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
27, but it's the Honey Badger. I mean, you can't pass up the Honey Badger. Come on now.
The Bengals are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The
Focus on
Steelers
my
are now on the
defensive
clock.
line.
The
I might draft
Seahawks
one
are now on the
linebacker
clock.
just because I know that
The Colts
getting the
are
other
now
two
on
in
the clock.
or the other
The Browns are now on the clock.
ones in the draft, so not too concerned. It'll be one middle linebacker, I think. But it's not going to be one of the top ones. It's going to be Denzel Perryman.
The Rams are now on
He's
the
going
clock.
to pair well with who I plan on getting in the draft.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock.
Now we'll focus on
The
the rest of
Rams
my
are now on the
defensive
clock.
line, and we'll be good to go. So we got our defensive tackle. Now looking at the right end. Come on,
The
Cam
Browns
Hayward.
are now on the
Pairing
clock.
Cam Hayward with some Brett Kiesel.
The Eagles are now on the
I
clock.
like where we're looking with this.
The Broncos are now on the clock. The Giants
We're gonna move
are now
on
on the
now
clock.
to
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Josh again, and he's got a
The
hell of a
Bengals
defensive
are now
tackle
on the clock.
already. And I believe he runs a 4-3 there in Baltimore. I believe that's what their defense is. So that means he needs another defensive tackle. He's still sitting here. This worked out for him well last time. He's going to get him again.
The Texans are
Geno
now on the
Atkins.
clock.
I don't know how he's still sitting there. I mean, come on. How you going to leave that man sitting there? Then we'll go to the ends for him and get him some nice pass rushers.
The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock.
Dun, dun,
The
dun.
Titans are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the
Once
clock.
I finish my
The
next
Chiefs
pick, which
are
will
now
be
on
my
the clock.
other
The
end
Jets
position,
are now on the clock.
I will move
The
back to the
Redskins
offensive
are
side
now
of
on
the
the
ball.
clock.
Finish up
The
work there.
Texans are now on the clock.
I believe I said I was going to work on his ends. I just want to make sure that I don't already have an end for him or something like that, maybe. Park Stink Schlereth. Wow. You've already got two defensive tackles. You're good there. Jordan McCoy's 31. Everson Griffin's 31. He's very concerned about his player's age.
The Buccaneers are
Jonathan
now on the
Allen's
clock.
24. There you go, Josh. Nice young Jonathan Allen. I gotta remember that I'm not the Steelers this time. I keep wanting to go to them. I am Jacksonville.
The Bengals are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock.
It's funny
The
because I haven't had
Raiders
that problem
are now on the
accidentally picking for
The
the
Broncos
Steelers,
are now
but
on the clock.
had
the
enough
Eagles
of a problem
are now
doing
on
the
the
other
clock.
damn thing.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
I need a left end. Olivier
The Rams
Vernon.
are now on the clock.
Why not? From the U.
The Bears are now on the
U
clock.
players.
The Dolphins are now on
We'll
the
now
clock.
move back onto the offensive side.
The Bears are now on the
We're
clock.
up that
The
side of
Jaguars
the
are now on the clock.
And by saying sure up, I mean taking a backup running back, and there's a lot of good ones. Let's be fair. But I'm going to go the edge. Edgerrin James
The
is going to be
Browns are now
my
on the clock.
secondary running back alongside of
The Eagles are
Jerome
now on the
Bettis.
clock.
And I think that's going to be huge.
The Broncos
But I'm
are
going to
now
have
on
to
the
help
clock.
out the Ravens a
The
crap ton after
Giants
seeing what
are
I
now
just
on the
saw.
clock.
I said
Vikings
I'd
are now
focus
on
a
the
little bit
clock.
on both teams' offenses now.
The
that,
Bengals are now
for
on
the
the
most
clock.
part, they're all pretty shored up on defense. LaDainian
The
Tomlinson.
Texans are now on the clock.
That's a pairing now for them. They've got Earl Dickerson and LaDainian Tomlinson.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
That's definitely going to be
The
a hard
Redskins are
combination
now
to
on the
stop.
clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Lions
Switch
are
them
now
when I
on the
get to 'em.
clock.
Whoops.
The
Forgot I
Saints
can't
are now on the
advance
clock.
picks when I'm not
The
me.
Redskins are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock.
There we go. Ravens are now on the clock once again. Dun, dun. They do have one tight end. They have or two receivers. So let's go get you another receiver. How about some Deshaun Jackson?
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
I think I'm about to take tight end, maybe
The
a receiver or
Bengals
something.
are now on the clock.
I'm not all
The
that concerned with
Vikings
my
are
offensive
now on the
line.
clock.
Uh,
The Steelers are now on the
I'm
clock.
going to make some edits of my own to some
The
players.
Seahawks are now
Bradshaw
on the
being one of
clock.
them. This game,
The Colts
the
are now on
roster,
the clock.
they didn't give Bradshaw
The Jaguars
any
are now
scrambling
on the
ability,
clock.
which is weird because you can watch his highlights. You can watch everything about him. He did scramble in his career. He had to. Our offensive line back in the day was not that great.
The Rams are now on the clock.
He had to get a little bit of scramble in. So we'll
The
we'll
Bears
see,
are now on the
what we
clock.
can do. I'm not going to give him
The
like
Dolphins
the ability
are now
to
on the clock.
outrun Michael Vick or
Bears
anything
are
like
now
that.
on the clock.
That's not happening anytime soon. All I mean by what I'm going to try to do is help him to be able to escape a little bit, have some escapability, if you will. I am definitely going Mark
The
Andrews.
Browns are now on the clock.
I like my young tight ends. Mark Andrews is one of
The
them.
Eagles are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Giants
And then I
are
will
now on the
focus
clock.
on offensive line from here on out for
The
my team.
Packers
The
are now on the
Steelers get a
clock.
hell of a fullback.
The Buccaneers
Mike
are now on the
Allstott, who is usually my pick for fullback for them. Oh, I accidentally skipped his, but they get Andy
The Cowboys
Trevathan.
are now on the clock.
My bad, Josh.
The Patriots
I
are
was
now
just
on the clock.
skipping along, didn't
The
even pay any
Titans
attention.
are now on the clock.
You
The
get Danny
Panthers
Trevathan.
are now on the clock.
Sorry about that.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock.
All right, now you're on the clock again, and let's sure up the rest of that offensive line. All right, so we'll look at the left guard first. You get Quentin Spain.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Vikings
Not a whole
are
lot
now
of
on the
players
clock.
left now. Well, there's a lot
The
of players
Giants
left. Let's be
are
fair.
now on the clock.
There's a
The
lot of
Broncos
players
are
left.
now on the clock.
Mostly position
The
players.
Colts
There's
are
not a
now
lot
on
of
the
like
clock.
linemen and whatnot.
The Browns are now on the
Defensive
clock.
players, legend-wise, or anything like that. There's a lot of good positional players, though. How old are you? See, I don't mind going a little younger, lower overall, if it means that I'm getting a younger player.
The Rams are now on
like
the
Deion
clock.
Dawkins. There we go.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock.
Now, obviously, I do need an older player at least one of my lineman positions. The one I was going to take just got took literally one pick before me. And I'm disappointed about that.
The Browns
Look
are
at the
now
other
on
one.
the clock.
If I lose Marquise, I'll just
The
get
Eagles
Mike.
are now on the clock.
Why not?
The Broncos are now on the clock. The Steelers
Connor
are
goes
now
to
on the
Seattle.
clock.
I'm disappointed to see
The
that.
Packers are now on the clock.
But,
The
I
Buccaneers are
have
now on
no
the
use
clock.
for him in this offense. I'm not going to lie. I love Connor to death. But my offense as it is right now,
The Texans
I have
are now on
absolutely
the
no
clock.
use for him. And I don't mean
The
that in a bad
Cowboys
way.
are
I
now
just
on the
mean
clock.
that he'd
The
be the third
Redskins
running back.
are now on
and
the clock.
I don't want to see
The
that. I'd rather
Jets
see him
are now
somewhere
on the
where
clock.
maybe he's the first or second string running
The
back.
Chiefs are now on the clock.
I don't remember who we
The
drafted
Panthers
for
are now on the
Seattle.
clock.
So I don't know who he's got
The
up there with
Titans
him, but
are now on the clock.
hopefully
The
he's in a
Patriots
decent
are now on
position.
the clock. The Cowboys are now on
I
the
just
clock.
didn't have the
The
spot for him.
Ravens
I
are
really
now
didn't.
on the clock.
So now the Ravens are going to take a right guard, and I think that completes their offensive lineman once they do. You look young.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
You're young enough.
The Bengals are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock.
So I believe I have my
The
guards
Giants
to go.
are now on the clock.
Specifically.
The Broncos are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock.
Oof. Yeah, I have both of my guards to go. So I'm going to go a little bit older on this one.
The Rams are now on the clock.
I trust Ramon.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Swear to God, if
The
I
Chargers are now on the clock.
the right guard that I would
The
have
Chargers
picked,
are now on the
he was
clock.
there. Ooh, the Dolphins. Ooh.
The Rams are now on the clock.
All right. So
The
the teams are starting to
Jaguars are
take
now on the
quarterbacks,
clock.
which is going to draw a problem. So we'll fix any problems in where something like that happens. But yeah,
The Browns are now on the clock.
I'll take that day.
The
Looking
Eagles
like
are now
quarterbacks
on the
are going
clock.
off the board
The
here.
Falcons are now on the clock.
All the backups are coming
The
off
Raiders
the board.
are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock.
All the teams are like, I
The
need to go back.
Bills are now
That's
on
going
the
to be
clock.
funny. Namath is backing
The
up
Ravens
Marino
are now
in
on the
Pittsburgh.
clock.
That's hilarious.
The 49ers
I
are
did
now
it
on the
again.
clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock.
And this time even worse.
The
I didn't
Titans
even see who it
are now
was.
on the clock. The Saints are now on the
I feel
clock.
even worse.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
So I'm
The
gonna try
Texans
to-
are now on the clock.
It's going to be real easy if it was a quarterback. I can tell you that. It's not a quarterback. I think it was the receiver. It was a left end. I know it was a left end because I didn't draft Clean Farrell. At least I don't think. I might have. I guess I did. No. Well, no, because Patrick Mahomes would have been listed one. Yeah, I guess it was. Had to be. Leno Farrell. Okay. Well, they're back on the clock. So I'm not having a right outside linebacker. I must fix that problem.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
That guy looked young. He was 27. That's why I did it. So as you can see, the problem really isn't doing one by one pick.
The
For the most part, I
Bengals
think
are now
it's
on
me
the
trying
clock.
to switch between the different users.
The Vikings are
But
now on the clock. The
That
Giants
only
are now on
needs
the
to
clock.
happen through the
The
first
Broncos
round. Really.
are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock.
Well, I guess I might as well take my damn backup quarterback with the way this is going. I'm going to get somebody. Let me take a look at what we got. It's not a lot. It's not really a lot of much of anything. And I like Carson Palmer for this. So it's
The
gonna be Carson
Rams are
Palmer.
now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock.
And then I think this has to be my right tackle. And then we're good. My whole team's pretty good. But I'll go a little bit further because I want to.
The Browns are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the
At
clock.
this point, I am just going to kind
The
of
Bengals are now on the clock.
Josh's pick. Just
The
'cause
Texans are now on the clock.
got Rosen as his
The
backup.
49ers are
That's
now
not
on the
bad.
clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Greedy Williams.
The Bills are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock.
All right. Well, that just happened.
The Giants are now on the clock. The Broncos
There's a lot
are
of good
now on
running
the clock.
backs still available, and I don't
The
understand
Eagles are now
why.
on the clock.
I guess I can understand why. I don't understand why, honestly. All right, so this is going to be the last receiver that I'm going to probably take. And I'm going to go Bullet Bob Hayes.
The Rams are now
I
on
mean,
the
why
clock.
not? The deep threat.
The Bears are now on the clock. The
And I'm going to take a
Dolphins are now
fullback,
on the
and
clock.
that is going to do
The
it. for
Rams
the
are now
draft.
on the
Once
clock.
I get through Josh's pick, I just want to see what he's going to have for this round. This round will be it. Let me get a fullback up in here. I'm going to get Kyle
The
Use
Browns
check.
are now on the clock.
Use check.
The Eagles are now on the clock. The Broncos are now
And then,
on
of
the
course,
clock.
as you guys know,
The Giants are now on the clock.
like I said, this is a
The
relocation
Vikings
series.
are now on the clock.
We're not going to go through the first season.
The
First
Bengals
season's
are
just
now
gonna
on
play
the clock.
itself out. I'm not going to have injuries,
The
so players
Texans
won't
are now on the clock.
have anything
The
to do with that.
49ers
We'll
are
just
now on the
move
clock.
On.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
Yeah.
The Saints are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the
Gonna have
clock.
injuries the first season. The second season, when I'm actually broadcasting the games, we'll have injuries and whatnot. But the first season, no injuries. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time.